Bwong. Holy crap. Hey guys, we're recording our discussion of who would win for the finale of the villain month that we've had.
Because, yeah, we have to argue about it ourselves.
We have to sit here and discuss it and whatnot. And we figure, maybe this pod will be informative and interesting enough. We'll just use this instead of making a normal video. But we'll see how that goes. To begin with, we've made a list of the pros and cons, weaknesses and strengths, if you will, of the various evil overlords. We're going to give you a quick rundown of those, and then we're going to discuss.
Indeed.
So, for Voldemort, the pros or strengths. He's got magic of all varying kinds. Specifically, he's known for having a one-shot kill spell, the ability to fly, the ability to teleport, various protection magics, your Protego and whatnot. He got a wand, and for all wizards, wands enhance and focus magic, and at his particular skill level, he does not require one, it will just be better with. He's got long-term immortality via his Horcruxes. He is wildly intelligent, and the Horcruxes themselves are heavily warded and difficult to destroy.
Now for his cons, no non-magical combat capabilities, meaning he has no melee capabilities whatsoever that we know of. He cannot do a fist fight at all. Immortality does not prevent death in combat, merely allows him to survive and be reborn later. Horcruxes are destroyable, has no conscious connection to Horcruxes, so they can be destroyed without his knowledge, and he has killed himself twice due to focusing on Harry Potter.
Now for Darth Sidious, his pros or strengths. He's got the Force, and everything we know that can do, which for him specifically includes Force Lightning, telekinesis, that sort of stuff. He also has 2 lightsabers at his command, making him equally capable at melee or range. He's physically swift and agile, despite being somewhat frail as an old man. His force powers make up for that. He is massively intelligent. He is by far the most cunning member of this cadre. He's very adaptable, and he has the precognition of the Force thing.
Now, his cons, only combatant without immortality of some form. So he is the only one who does not have some kind of immortality. He has no physical or mystical protection of the body beyond active Force use.
Active emphasis.
Mm-hmm. He was defeated in combat by a powerful Jedi, Mace Windu, and he was slain by his own ally, Darth Vader. And his precognition is not infallible. Sometimes it's wrong.
For Sauron's pros, he's got magic. He's an actual sorcerer. He has all those kinds of things. In addition to his whole Maiar God power crap. He can shapeshift. He's full-on immortal. He doesn't die of old age. And the spirit is mostly immortal. We'll get to the mostly part in a minute. He has incredible physical and mystical might as a result of all of these things. He's able to sense the One Ring when it's in use, no matter where it is. And the ring, if lost, will try to return to him.
So, Sauron's cons: despite godhood, his body is vulnerable to mortals and mortal weaponry. He cannot access the full power without his One Ring. If the One Ring is destroyed, Sauron is effectively ruined, killed, or destroyed, and he was defeated by a mortal with a normal sword.
Now, they all have a list of similar pros and cons that we've put into a single category that we're kind of ignoring a little bit because they all have the same thing. It kind of cancels itself out. They're all incredibly ruthless evil beings. They all have some form of mind control or mental manipulation.
And mental control resistance.
And resistance. And because of that, any ability that any of them have is really going to be negligible against each other. Mm-hmm. Even assuming, as we probably do, that Sauron's is the most powerful mental domination.
It's still not gonna...
The person who, in my opinion, is the weakest mind, Voldemort, wouldn't succumb. At least not quickly enough for a fight.
Not quickly enough for this, full-on, the 3 of you are suddenly in a room and you're killing each other. Yeah. And then their cons are they're all arrogant. They all think that they are the best, even when that's not necessarily the case.
And that has led to pretty much all of their deaths.
Yep. So, with that, we are now just the 2 of us going to sit here and discuss and see who, in our opinion, would win.
So let's discuss.
So, starting off, we have. Let's just focus with each individual person and how.
Well, but before that, I just want to go over a quick overview. We were pretty sure from the get-go that Sauron had this in the bag.
We were like 98% certain that Sauron was 100% going to win.
And this is actually a lot closer fight than we thought it would be. And the biggest part of that is our misunderstanding of how the ring works.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we were looking at it like, it's a Green Lantern ring with the power of a god in it. And it is. The difference is that, it just lets him have his whole godness, not boosting him like it does everyone else.
To be fair, if we were believing that, that ring was giving everyone else this power that, if we give it to someone else, they would automatically win this fight, then there's no reason that him and his powers would not automatically win this fight.
Which is a fair point. It's just, it doesn't boost him like we thought it did.
No, it's true. It does not, it's not a god on top, it's not a power ring on top of a god.
Basically, he's got like 80% of his power in this ring, so anyone else is like, I'm me, plus 80% of a god, and he's just like, I'm full
a god. I am 100% a god.
I'm 100% a god. So yeah, you were gonna...
So I'm saying, let's go person by person first, and say, like, in our opinion, how they would or wouldn't win, and then talk about them as a whole.
Okay.
So starting with Voldemort, I think he's the weakest one here.
Okay. I was thinking that originally. I think the distance between he and Sidious is actually a lot smaller, though. I really think you're discounting the whole kill you in one shot spell.
See, but that spell is a line.
Yeah.
And we've seen Sidious do crazy Jedi jumps out of the way.
I will say, I think Sidious actually has the best defense against the kill spell, just because he is so agile.
He is
will
extremely
be all over
agile.
the place.
Now, remember, guys, we are doing these guys at the peak of their power,
the height of their power, which is why Voldemort has not Voldemort, which is why Sauron has his ring. Because he was technically more powerful by the end, even though it's also his weakness.
Yeah. That's also why Sidious, he's not the old, decrepit Emperor. He's actually just freshly made Emperor Palpatine, end of Episode 3.
Although, arguably, with what we know, I mean, you look at Yoda and whatnot, even crinkly old Palpatine probably have within, 3% of the same physical abilities.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd be jumping around as much, is my thing.
Well, that's why I pointed out Yoda.
Yeah.
He's 900.
Yeah, he's also an alien. As far as we know, Palpatine's
yeah, but he's human. He's like the equivalent of a 90-year-old dude. He's just 900.
Okay.
And he's still like, I have the Force! Disco dance.
But yeah, so Palpatine could easily
either
avoid it, force deflect it, have it hit his lightsaber, and it wouldn't matter.
And that's the other thing, is we know the kill spell can be blocked, not by magic. There's no magic beyond the really goofy connection crap that he and Harry have.
Yeah.
That blocks it, but physical objects do. Like in the fight with he and Dumbledore, he blocks it with statues.
And I doubt
immortal beings can tank it and just die and revive.
And I know that the statues exploded.
Yeah, they were damaged. But they were damaged real hard.
But I don't think a lightsaber would take that kind of hit. They take and deflect force lightning.
Well, that's my thing. I feel like the saber itself, no outside input, would probably break, but it would block it. So it could block it once. With the Force, it's entirely possible it could be.
I think as long as it doesn't hit the handle, it'll be fine. If it hits the energy beam,
the energy beam is fed from the crystal.
I know. So we did a video about how lightsabers are energized.
Right.
So it might take a huge chunk of the power battery, but I don't think that it would.
So I'd be willing to say at most, a lightsaber could tank 2 shots before it breaks. Because I feel like if this beam auto kills anything organic, and actually the argument could be made that the Kyber crystals are organic. So
I guess in Disney canon they kind of are. They're even semi-sentient.
I said even before they were sort of alive in the Force. So.
See, but yeah, the crystals are kind of a focusing agent, but they're not.
They're the power source.
I know, but they have a battery.
Sorry, they're what makes everything go.
I know, but the lightsaber blade itself. So why doesn't it take extreme damage from taking lightning? It can take lightning bolt after lightning bolt and survive indefinitely, as far as we know.
That's a fair point. I mean, I think that...
And I feel like if a statue took a freaking Palpatine Thunderbolt, it would probably take the same amount as the Death Curse. He exploded an engine core with his lightning.
Yeah, but it has active electrical components.
Yeah, and this is a full-on just...
No, I will give you. I think they could do similar amounts of damage to statuary and all that kind of stuff. But I do think, as far as just the actual oomph, the kill spell's got to have. The Avada Kedavra's got to have way more punching power than lightning. Okay. But for purpose of this argument, I'm willing to say that he can reflect them if he sees it coming.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Or at least block them. Maybe not reflect.
Maybe not reflect.
He's not deflect.
Yeah, he's not going reflecting. He's not reflecting.
That's not happening.
But he can deflect it and send it off somewhere else.
Yeah, so he can maybe avoid that. That's really the biggest thing Voldemort has. He's like, I can shoot, and that's one of the things about all these three is. All of the powers are really nebulous, you know?
Okay, so...
but also, well, let me just finish this and then you can continue with your thought. But they also... None of them have enough personal protection versus what the other ones can do. This ends with one shot, no matter who does it.
See, and I have to argue that a little bit for Sauron versus that kill spell.
Okay.
So if it hits, because let's face it, he's a tank. He's not moving very fast. It has a high likelihood.
I could see him dodging or shapeshifting around or all that kinds of stuff, but he's not the most agile one.
But he is the closest to straight up immortal. As long as that bolt does not hit the ring, I feel like he could stay in the fight just fine.
Well, the thing about that is he got killed by. Like his body actually died from the tsunami thing that swept up the island. Like he died in a flood. So his body can be beaten, crumpled to death.
But I feel like that took a lot of power because the wolf didn't even kill him in their fight.
The wolf didn't kill him in their fight because he gave him the option. He's like, he was literally at his mark, like, I will kill you now, or you can run.
Yeah.
So, I'd be willing to say it might take more than one.
Okay.
It might more than one. And I'm also willing to say that despite the fact that there's no known wizard spell to block that, Sauron can probably block it if he knows.
That's just it. There's no known Harry Potter wizard spell. But the magic, the magic in Lord of the Rings is just...
I don't think the magic itself is like I think
God magic.
Yeah, like we're talking looking at like Saruman, Gandalf, the Witch King, those kind of things.
Yeah.
I think there are some wizards like Voldemort and Dumbledore that could probably take them in a magic duel, but Sauron is still way above them.
Yeah, he's a god.
Yeah, he's easily twice the Witch King. Who is the most or second most powerful magic user in the books?
Yeah,
in the Lord of the Rings books, Silmarillion. Don't shoot me.
But yeah, so we'll say that he has some kind of magic that he could put up.
I think it's entirely possible he could block the spell.
Yeah,
but the point I was trying to make is outside of active. Blocking, deflection, dodging, whatever. Like, if someone actually gets hit...
Oh, yeah. If somebody actually gets hit, successfully hit, this fight is over.
Yeah, and it's like, the minute anyone takes a straight hit through their defenses, around them, whatever, like, they can all one-shot each other.
Yeah. Voldemort could easily...
Which is kind of nuts.
If he connects with the kill spell, either of the other two are dead. If Sidious cuts off...
the
ring, then... we know that just instantly Sauron disappears for some reason. He doesn't just pick up the ring, even though it's right there.
Well, it's because his... I'm not actually sure why his...
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's... See, because my first thought was like, well, it must take, like... Because I'm, in my head, I'm going to throw these numbers around every so often. In my head, like, 80% of Sauron's power is in the ring, 20% still in him. That seems like a good number for what we know. Because no actual percentage, of course, is given.
Well, I guess even when he's in the eye, he's waiting for the ring to become physical. So he has to have physical connection.
That's the thing
to have his body.
I had forgotten, but when we were doing the research, apparently in the books, he actually has a body by the end of the Return of the King. Like, he has a physical form. He's just weak enough he doesn't go out and fight with it.
Okay, so yeah, his body shouldn't actually disappear there.
I'm not entirely sure why his body disappears. I know it does.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happens.
And I wouldn't say that it's not like he instantly becomes, down to 20%, so he becomes infinitesimally more easily defeated.
And he's also just like a ghost.
Yeah. My point is, like, just the body without the ring, right?
is like 20%.
Is like 20%. So,
and I don't think that's enough to take either one.
I agree.
If
him at 20% loses to Voldemort,
it's like
agree.
Him at 20% loses to either one of them. I think if somehow the ring is removed from him, whether or not he was able to deflect everything else, once he loses the ring, even if his body doesn't break, he's done.
Probably, yeah, I agree.
There's no contest because this is still kind of a fairly close. Even if we're to put the odds at like, I don't know, 25-25, Voldemort and Sidious, and like 50 in favor of Sauron with his stuff on. You take it off, he drops to like a 5.
Yeah, I agree. And like they instantly jump to,
Yeah, no, he's
45
toast.
and 45.
But so are we thinking the kill spell, assuming it makes a clean shot?
Assuming it makes a clean shot on Sidious,
no question.
Dead,
he's just a mortal man. He's
but
done.
kill spell on
Sauron, no protections.
I'd say he can probably take 2, maybe 3 of those.
2, maybe 3. I would agree with that. I'd be willing to give him at least
just because he is a god.
Yeah, he's a full, and he's an upper level. Like he's not a Valar. He's a Maiar, which are the smaller ones, but he's an upper tier Maiar.
Yeah. He's like one of the most powerful, and he worked for 2 different Valar.
He worked for 2 different Valar. He was the strongest servant of the Smith Guard, Aul, I think is his name.
Yeah.
And he was the most powerful servant that Morgoth had.
Morgoth had at all. So he is the, as far as we know, most powerful Maiar in the Lord of the Rings.
And by the time of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, he's the most powerful being
in Middle Earth.
In Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one that comes close to touching him.
So... But yeah, so with that, I think with the kill spell, that's Voldemort's only pro at this point. Like, he's just...
No, because he can teleport and fly, and those are big. Like,
they are big.
You can use those a lot.
If you want to include these people running away, though...
Well, no, just for maneuverability. Like, you're in a fight between 2 other powerful dudes who all basically have magic, because you have the Force and you have magic.
Yeah.
Like, one of your biggest things, especially if you're dealing with people that can block magic you don't have, or pull out things you don't know, is you can teleport and get out of the way, or teleport and get a shot from behind, or fly around and get a better angle.
That's true. You can teleport and get it. That brings him up a little bit more. And you're right. I was kind of discounting some of his powers.
But he can also teleport and fly, so he could teleport into the air and stay there.
Now, the only person who can't fly straight up is Darth Sidious.
Yeah. Because I think it's a fair assumption to say Sauron can fly.
Sauron can fly. He has some magic that he can fly
whether it's with a fly spell or by
for all we know,
he could just
shapeshift wings and fly if he wanted to.
Or just grow wings. And, that's a thing.
If he really wanted to. They can all fly. And then there's Sidious, who can force jump really high. It's so dumb that Jedi can't fly straight up.
It's really funny. It's like, I can move an entire ship.
But I can't make myself fly.
Float in space because there's no gravity. Fly in space because there's no gravity. But flying's not a thing.
If you have telekinesis, you can fly.
That's a thing. Like, I feel like it's just not there because it's easier not to do things that way.
It's just
makes
easier.
For more interesting story.
Okay, so we're obviously looking at all 3 of them now. We have...
Well, so we've mostly talked about Voldemort's kill spell.
Okay.
So you wanted to go from each one. Is there anything else about him?
There's nothing else about him. Because, like, this is just talking a straight fight. Once they're out of the fight, they're out. Okay, right?
Yeah. And I would also like to point out that because of the way Voldemort's Horcruxes and Sauron's ring work, even though... with the possible exception of Sauron, but I'm still going to say no. No one in the fight can just straight up break a Horcrux or the ring, like, in the moment.
I think Sauron could easily break a Horcrux. He could just smash a Horcrux. I mean, they stabbed the book, and they just smashed the pendant with a rock.
They did not smash the pendant with a rock.
I thought they just smashed the pendant with a rock.
No. Like, Dumbledore's black hand thing?
Yeah,
that he got from breaking, I think, the ring or whatever. That was him doing it without help or whatever. He was able to destroy it, but that blackness and whatnot was a spell that literally, even with help, was incurable and would have killed him within a year.
All right.
Like, he was dead.
Okay.
Also, as far as stabbing the book goes...
That was because it was a basilisk fang.
That was because it was a basilisk fang. And apparently basilisk venom is like one of the nastiest things in all of creation.
Point is, God God made, like he forged that thing, mace.
Or, other weapons.
Or when it goes
yeah, it's okay, so...
But the bigger thing about the Horcruxes is they're not going to take the time to go and find them.
Well, no, but so, yes, that's true. But the point I was trying to make was that for purposes of this fight, neither the Horcruxes nor the ring prevent either of them from losing, because it doesn't stop any of them from dying.
It doesn't stop them from straight up die. They will still lose their body for however long.
Quote-unquote die in the fight.
Yeah.
And even though both of them could presumably live long enough in, like, half-alive mode to come back later and like, win the day by still being alive after the other one's gone and dead, it's also possible that if whoever won knew about those, they're absolutely going to go and track him down and find some way to...
Yeah, no, like, say Sidious wins, he's easily going to just go pick up the ring, throw it into Mount Doom, and then, like, go and find the Horcruxes.
Another interesting thing about that...
because they're all vengeful pieces of douche that are like, no, I'm going to be the most powerful, so I'm going to make sure you stay dead.
Well, and also, like, after this, like, yeah, you are, like, one of the only things that can compete with me. I am going to make sure you stay in the ground. But another thing about that, actually, was that I guess there were dragons powerful enough back in the day that they could destroy rings of power with their breath.
Yeah.
Although, from what I remember reading, like, there was a line that specifically said none of them have existed ever that was powerful enough to break the One Ring.
Yeah.
But that inference there is that it is possible to have something with enough power and heat or whatever
to actually destroy the thing.
Like, say, a Death Star. Or an exploding planet. Or the sun.
If they threw it into the sun, or he specifically just put it in space and was like, aim at that ring with the Death Star, he could probably
I'd be willing to say, like, if the fight's over and say Sidious won, like, he can find a way to destroy it.
Yeah.
And Voldemort probably can't.
He'd probably lock it. You know what he would probably do? He'd probably make it another Horcrux.
I feel like he would try, or try to use it. Like of Palpatine or Voldemort, if someone's going to try and use the ring to gain extra power,
it's absolutely Voldemort.
It would be Voldemort, yeah. Because all of his Horcruxes were like powerful artifacts on their own, or at least historically significant. And the ring of the god you killed certainly counts as historically significant.
All right, so
back on
moving
track.
on to Sidious.
Sidious.
We have Super Force Lightning, which
all the Force powers we've ever seen,
and
quick moment, all the magic we've ever seen from Voldemort too. But
but so you have Force Lightning, which is his biggest one.
That's his go-to move. It's what he likes to do.
But I don't think that's going to do much to Sauron.
I don't think actually the Force Lightning would do much to either of them, assuming they have defenses up.
Well, so my question is, what would Voldemort have against that?
Protection magic.
Doesn't that only work against other magic?
I would have to look up like how Protego works, because I think that's the only straight up protection spell that's ever specifically spelled out. But I think it's just a mystical blocker, and I feel like if it blocks magic, it would have some effect on the Force.
Okay.
That's the other problem is we're
combining three different universes,
systems that don't have magic.
We're trying to do D&D heroes and like. Something else.
Fate Core.
Yeah. trying to
splice these systems together and see how they interact.
And that's the issue for the deflection.
Like, we should have pointed that out earlier, but this is all
oh my gosh,
based on guesswork and
there's
opinion.
There's so little information about the idea of crossing these guys over that it's just ridiculous.
It's like there's no like hard and fast fact sheets for what these guys can all do. Because as a side bonus of being the big evil overlords for each of their particular franchises, their powers are all somewhat nebulous. So it's like you have an idea of some of the things they can do, and
they can do everything that everyone else can do, but at a higher level,
and or other things. Yeah, there's much about.
But I think his biggest boon, in all honesty, is gonna be his skill with lightsabers.
His skill with lightsabers and his personal just ability to move.
His agility, his lightsabers, and his intelligence.
Even counting the fact that Voldemort can, and probably Sauron can fly, I still think he's the most mobile.
Oh yeah.
And
well, we've seen wizard duels, like whether in the books or in the movies. 90% of the time,
there's not a lot of moving.
Yeah, exactly. 90% of the time, it's just two dudes standing across from each other, swinging their arms at each other.
Hasa basa 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 magic abracadabra.
The only exception to that is Voldemort versus Dumbledore in the Ministry of Magic. Yeah. In both the movie and the book, there was a lot of moving in that.
Yeah.
But even that is nothing compared to a
Any
Jedi and Jedi duel.
Yeah. There's a lot more movement there. And Sauron's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Like he can move, he doesn't have to generally.
And he doesn't often. He is a tank. Well, he will slowly move through armies while carving away.
Yeah, I mean, if you go off the movie, for sure. And then, he could be a vicious wolf, or he's a powerful magician, or, He probably has the most range.
Sidious?
But no, Sauron. And by range, I don't mean, like, distance. I'm like, wide range of abilities.
Yeah. Just because he has god powers. He
has god powers, and, he's lived for millennia, and he's been shown to do a wide range of things. Even if the power hasn't really been super well documented, he can do a lot of different things.
So I think Sidious's biggest pro is his agility and his lightsabers.
And he's, I will say this, I think he's the smartest one. Like the smartest.
Absolutely.
Of the three of them, he is the smartest and most cunning. Most cunning for sure.
He's also the only one of the three of them who successfully took over his goal.
That is true.
Like, Sauron had millennia of time, and he still didn't take over Middle-earth.
He almost did it twice.
Voldemort took over London for, 6 months?
It was a few months, yeah. I don't think it was more than a year.
And then you have Darth Sidious, who ruled the galaxy with an iron fist.
For 20 years.
For 20 years. And so, of the three of them, he was the most successful. To be fair, 90% of that was done in the background.
Yeah, and that was it. It's like he did it the smart way. And as an example of why that's the smart way, look at how Voldemort got all his followers. He just quietly gathered people, and he had a small army that he was able to make bigger once he started murdering people. And Sauron did the Palpatine thing and became an effective ruler of the most powerful race of humans in existence at the time.
The only reason he lost that point is because he decided, hey, instead of ruling the rest of Middle-earth, I'm going to go after the fucking gods.
It's like, oh yes, I am a greater minor god. Let's send these mortal men to fight the gods. And then, wait, there's a big god up there that can do something if he wants. Bleh.
Bleh. And I honestly think if he had chosen to instead turn them on Middle-earth,
I think he could have walked a lot.
I think he would have walked a lot of Middle-earth and ended up ruling it.
I feel like there's probably, the elves and things are all pretty powerful, and the dwarves are pissy and all that kind of jazz. So I think he probably wouldn't have conquered from that point, but if he had kept them and built up the army he used later, I think he would have had
If he'd kept them, built up the army he used later, and done the whole ring thing...
Well, even without the ring thing, because, after the Numenorians get washed out, he goes back and he builds up his forces again while he gets his body, right? So if he had the orcs and goblins and trolls and whatever, plus the Numenorians, I think he would have walked Middle-earth.
I agree.
In his
But yeah, so for Sidious, biggest thing, agility and lightsabers, because like we talked about, Sauron is not immune.
Telekinesis is super useful, especially for avoiding the kill spell.
Yeah. But for Sauron is not at all immune to the lightsaber.
No.
His hand can be cut off by
a normal unenchanted sword wielded by a normal non-magical man.
Then there's no reason that a lightsaber couldn't, which is known for cutting off hands according to the TV according to the movies and the books.
It's known for cutting off everything. And in the Star Wars universe, there are whole disciplines of lightsaber combat dedicated to chopping off limbs.
Yeah. So
Palpatine has got to know one of them.
Yeah. So cutting off his hand, if that's really all it takes to make him implode, is the biggest thing.
Yeah, and now the argument could be made was like, well, would Palpatine know to do that? Not necessarily, but if he's fighting these things, he gets close enough, he's taking out the hand wielding a weapon.
Yep. Which is not the one that held the ring according to the movie.
Right. Well, that depended. There were different scenes he would held it. He
almost always held it in his right hand, and the ring was on his left index finger.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
The ring is on his right hand in the movie. The ring was on his right hand, and in fact, they're specifically shown with him holding the mace. Really? Yeah. When he goes to reach for Isildur in the movie, it's his right hand because he's looking at you face on like this. And for you guys, there's that picture. But
and I'm doing some Googling.
Yeah, no, I just edited that video last week. Dude.
I absolutely
have that
you.
scene. But yeah, so even if it wasn't the weapon hand, he might cut it off for incantation purposes
that is his
too.
Right hand.
Yeah. Even if that wasn't his weapon hand, he would go to cut off the weapon hand.
Yeah,
he would also, since he's casting spells, which generally use his hands, he might go for the other hand as well.
Yeah, no, he would absolutely cut off the hand that held the weapon, and according to every image I'm looking at right now, that is his right hand that he's holding the weapon in, and it is his right hand that he has the ring on.
Yeah.
So, if he's going to cut off a hand, it's going to be the right hand, and it is going to end him. Because it cuts off that hand, and we've seen what happens when he's disconnected from the ring. The body explodes.
The argument could also be made that the ring glows. Like, that's indisputable.
That's true. The ring, when he's wearing it, the ring always glows.
So the super smart guy goes, "This magic dude has a glowing ring. That's probably bad."
Shwink. So again, that's my biggest thing for Darth Sidious as a pro.
He has various force powers, but they're as counterable as the magic for everybody else.
And I would say, as far as we know, for the shapeshifting, his ring doesn't move or change. Right?
I mean, he's never shown to shapeshift after he gets the ring.
Doesn't he lose the ability to shapeshift?
It specifically says he loses the ability to assume a, quote, fair form. I don't know if that means he can't shapeshift at all or not.
Okay.
I would assume he still can do other shape-shifting. I mean, he can make a freaking body out of whatever. So I assume he can still shape-shift like normal. He just can't take on a pretty face.
Yeah. All right. So...
And personally, there's a part of me that thinks that might have been a curse from Eru.
Probably.
He's like, no, you can't do that again. You don't get to turn my favorite creations against my freaking godchildren.
So, for Sauron... Everything he has is a pro. Like, he has magic that he can deflect the magic with. It's fueled by the power of a god. Yeah. He has magical powers. We've seen he can have telekinesis, according to the Twin Towers. No. Yeah, Twin Towers. No.
What moment are you thinking about?
The Ring, Fellowship of the Ring, in the tower with Saruman and Gandalf. Saruman is swinging Gandalf around.
Oh, I see what you're going
with telekinesis. So,
and lest you guys think we're just confusing Sauron and Saruman, the Saruman and Gandalf are lesser Maiar. So anything they can do, Sauron can do, and he can do it better.
And he can do it better, more powerfully, especially with that ring. So he can absolutely.
He's got telekinesis.
He has telekinesis to the same level, if not better, than Sauron. Than Sidious.
I think Sidious is powerful enough that he could anti-telekinese Sauron, but I do think that the two of them locked in a duel like that are really open to Voldemort.
Agreed. So, and then, like we said, shapeshifting, he is the only one who is legit immortal as long as that ring isn't broken, and even after that, he's technically around.
Yep. Technically speaking, in the books, he never dies. Yeah. He's just so weak he can never do anything again.
And so I think we've essentially gone over them all. So now we have to decide.
Is there anything else to be said about Sauron as far as?
I think the only thing that is the biggest negative for Sauron is his arrogance versus Voldemort. He is going to take that first hit from the kill. He is going to take that first shot.
Okay.
He's not going to bother trying to dodge.
You don't think he'll try to block the magic coming at him?
I don't think
even if he doesn't know what it is, he might just try to walk.
I really don't think he'll care, because he likes to be intimidating.
He rules through
fear and power. If he got shot with what, as far as he knows, is a lightning bolt, really pretty magic lightning bolt.
I'm going to give him enough mystical knowledge that even if it's magic from a different reality, he would realize that it's not... At the very least, he would know it's not anything he's familiar with. Because there's no, like, outright kill spells in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. But, so that's just it. He doesn't know of any outright kill spells. I think he'd probably just take it.
But even if he did...
He's going to take that first one. He's not going to try and let himself be hit by that
Exactly.
again.
It's like, that is a problem. Let's not take one of those again.
But I guarantee you, Sidious would not. Sidious sees that coming for him. He's going to dodge.
Oh, yeah, no. Sidious is smart enough to block, move, whatever, anything. He's like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
That's a mystical green energy that's not the Force. And it's not a ray gun. I don't know what he's shooting at me, but I'm not going to take it to the face.
And then he sees it hit the wall behind him, and he's like, I'm absolutely not letting that hit me.
That's not happening.
But yeah, so I think... So, coming right down to it, who do we think in this Battle Royale will actually take the crown?
Okay, if we give this opinion, we have to say why.
Agreed.
Why do we think it's so?
Agreed.
I think, based upon our discussion... It has kind of seemed like we're still leaning towards Sauron to be the victor.
That's just it.
I don't think he has necessarily... That we know of. I mean, we can still play the God card and say he's just got more oomph than everybody.
Yeah.
But, and there is certainly a degree of that there, but I think he has at least a small counter of some kind for everything else everyone else has. And the other two don't have counters for everything he's got.
They really don't. That's just it. As soon as Sauron gets in either of their faces, like if he's able to hit them with that mace, they're dead.
Yeah, and I'm not relying on the mace too much for
boss mace.
Well, I mean it's the size of a hobbit.
Yeah,
it's a big old mace for sure. But I don't know that the mace is ever specifically mentioned anywhere. I could be wrong. We know he can make. He makes stuff. Yes, he's a god of fortune.
He made that mace.
Oh yeah, no question. If the mace exists somewhere outside of like Peter Jackson canon, then yeah, he made it.
Yeah, that is a magical god-made mace.
Yeah, for sure. No, like he will cream someone with that mace. If we were just relying on mace combat, though, I would say he would lose to Sidious.
Absolutely.
If there was no magical stuff, he was just going physical. There's no way he ever
hits Sidious with that.
And at most, the mystical enchantments on that mace means it doesn't break when it hits the
lightsaber.
Sabers. So,
actually,
that would probably shatter Sidious's arm.
That might,
but the lightsaber wouldn't break.
The lightsaber would break. That's another thing. If Sidious could lightsaber throw and hit Voldemort's wand, potentially.
Yeah, but I'm going to say no.
You're going to say that
that's absolutely a possibility. And when Voldemort deflects that, he will absolutely force pull it back to himself, so it's not lost.
Yeah.
But the big, obvious, glowing sword coming for your face is Voldemort. He's like, no, and he just throws it somewhere.
Agreed.
Okay, that's a funny thing.
So, are you actually?
He's got telekinesis and Accio and whatnot, and Sidious has telekinesis, and they could both totally try to like pull the ring straight from his finger, from Sauron's finger, but then he just goes, no. I have telekinesis too. Stay right here.
So is your vote for Sauron then?
I think it's definitely between Sidious and Sauron. And part of that, full disclosure, I'm a Star Wars fanboy.
Agreed.
Same. Like, deep inside my soul, I want Sidious to be able to kill a god. I think that's awesome. But I think overall, I will vote for Sauron as being the winner because of his more mystical might. I think if it came down somehow to just a physical confrontation, I think Sidious takes it. Even if he, ends up having an arm broken from blocking or deflecting a mace throw or whatever, he's good enough and fast enough and nimble enough and all that kind of jazz. He would cut Sauron apart.
Yeah.
But from just the mystical side, and could Sidious get that close, and can he match him at range with the Force powers versus Sauron's level of magic? I think Sauron probably takes it, and I believe that Sauron would also be able to out mystically match Voldemort. Now that being said, I think in a battle royale situation with all three of them, the possibility with Sauron coming out as a big power player exists that Voldemort and Sidious maybe team up to take him out, and I believe the two of them together could. And then after that, barring some serious goofiness, I believe Sidious would win. But I think overall, Sauron has, even if it's only like by 10% more power than the other two individually, and I think that he has enough variability in what he can do that he can more easily counter everything else everyone else can do and deal out his own lethality. So I guess in a single combat, my vote is Sauron.
Okay.
Even though I want it to be Palpatine.
So, amazingly enough, again, same as him, we are, biggest of these three fandoms, we are Star Wars boys. We just are.
Oh, yeah.
But with
Harry Potter will always
everything,
hold a special place in my heart, but...
with everything you talked about with Voldemort,
Oh, you think Voldemort would take it?
I don't think Voldemort would take it, but my tie is actually between Voldemort and Sauron, not Palpatine.
Okay.
As much as I'm right with you. I would love it if Sidious could frickin' take out a god. That's just awesome.
Agreed.
But with everything we talked about and with everything that we know he can do, I'm leaning more towards in that battle royale situation. I agree. Both of them probably would team up, and it's like, he's a big, scary dude. You want to kill him first? Because we're normal human-looking things.
I don't think it would happen that way, but I understand your thought.
Take him out. But then I honestly think I'd have to give the win to Voldemort at that point. So
Voldemort v Sidious, you think Voldemort wins?
I think Voldemort wins.
Okay.
And that is just because, Voldemort does have a lot of magic. Obviously, Sidious has all the different Force things, but I feel like with the teleportation and the legitimate flying, that Voldemort in the end would end up getting that kill shot. Okay. Even if it took him doing whatever that spell is to disarm your opponents, and he had to do that for both lightsabers and then quickly do a kill shot, I think he could do that before Sidious is going to get close enough to use that.
And you don't think he beats him at range?
I don't think he beats him in range.
And so, as far as them versus Sauron, unless you had more to say
I do think Sidious v Sauron, I think Sidious might actually win if it was just the two of them. I think Sidious might be able to take it.
As far as their skill set, I believe it's pretty close match.
Just because I don't think Sauron would come out swinging with magic. I think he would start... I think he would start with physical. Just because it's I don't feel like wasting my power here.
Let me pose this question. Because Sidious being Sidious...
He probably would come out with power.
He would open up with Force lightning and magic stuff.
That's
do you think
true.
In response to that?
Absolutely, Sauron would do that. So, at that point, if Sidious gets in melee range with him, I think Sidious wins. Other than that, I think Sauron wins. And when it comes to Sauron v Voldemort, there's no competition. Sauron wins. He's going to block the magic. He might take that first kill shot, and it will hurt but he will absolutely deflect or dodge or get out of the way of the rest of them, and he will, in my opinion, in the end, just take out Voldemort. So, I think between the two of us, have agreed that Sauron is our victor. in this battle royale, I think Sauron is our winner.
Okay. I think I'd agree with that. I think that Sauron is the one who takes the prize between the three of them. On a quick note, when we originally thought about these categories, we were originally going to do 3 different categories. One-on-one fight without immortality, one-on-one fight with immortality, and then actual empires versus actual empires. We condensed the first 2 because it turns out the immortality doesn't help in the fight.
It really doesn't.
The actual empire, though, one is a pretty quick discussion. We'll just throw that out at you.
Empire's really easy. So for you guys, we have the empires of Voldemort. He is him, his Death Eaters, and any other little wizards who have decided to team up with him.
As well as giants and a couple other not Death Eaters, Dementors, various mystical entities, all fairly powerful.
Yeah. Then you have Sauron. We already discussed that. You know, orcs, goblins,
trolls,
apparently
men.
Werewolves.
I don't know if he had werewolves or not. We never see them, but if there are werewolves around, he's definitely got some.
Yeah, so all of those mystical creatures, but a much bigger army.
Yeah,
than
definitely
Voldemort.
Easily lowballing it 4 times the size of Voldemort's army.
At least.
And the Nazgul.
And the Nazgul, and those Nazgul are pretty high up there. And
And
remember, these armies are not going to be led by our 3. They are not in
Yeah,
this fight.
this is
It's
assuming
just
it's
the
like-
armies versus each other.
Well, even counting them, it's the Empire of Sauron versus the Empire of Voldemort versus the Empire, so it's...
versus
it's
the
like,
Empire.
If these 3 beings actually existed in the same universe and were, trying to vie for the same control of something, what did they throw at each other?
And then finally we have Darth Sidious. And that is a galactic scale army, whether it's the clones or the robots or
he has the resources to police and fight wars on a galactic
scale.
He's
literally fighting entire wars like we do on our planet on 5 or 6 planets at once.
Lowballing it. Lowball numbers. We'll say I'm willing to say he has 10 times the number of raw troops that Sauron does.
Oh, he has at least 50 times.
Well, like I said, real lowballing.
That's super lowballing it.
And he also has access to all kinds of technological stuff, not just guns and presumably better armor and stuff. He's got walkers and
he's got
ships
walkers. He has ships. He has He has just fighters.
Yeah.
He has the freaking Death Star.
Even not counting the Death Star, we can count the Death Star and other super weapons and whatnot. But even not counting the big super weapons, he just has a galaxy full of people.
And then to lead that all, because we mentioned the Nazgul, he has Vader front and center.
He has Vader or Dooku or Grievous or Darth Maul, and any of them is bad news.
Yeah,
Vader's the worst.
Vader is the worst, and he's head of the army, just like you have the Nazgul leading that one, and
the Death Eaters leading, and the Death Eaters leading.
Is it
Voldemort's
Malfoy?
army.
Malfoy's at the front of.
Actually, it would probably have been
Snape.
Snape.
Yeah, probably.
Because
Snape.
by the end of it, in the height of his power, Snape was his most trusted dude.
Yeah. So.
But
you just have those 3 armies. The thing is that a galactic scale army, even if they are nothings who quote unquote miss all the time, the galactic scale army is going to whittle down the rest of them before they even feel the dent in there.
The wizards and the Dementors for Voldemort would cause serious damage, but eventually the wizards die.
Eventually a blaster bolt is going to hit them in the face, and they are going to die.
It's if you have, say, 500 Death Eaters total, they may walk through, 10,000 Stormtroopers. Not walk, but fight their way through 10,000 Stormtroopers. But after that, they're going to die.
They're absolutely going to die.
And yeah, the average troop isn't probably going to be able to do anything against a Dementor or some of the more mystical stuff, but Vader could.
Yeah.
Any of the Force people could. You'd look at Sauron's stuff. They are going to be walked by...
either one of them.
Well, no. There's a lot... It's a lot closer with...
Death Eaters.
With the Death Eaters. Because the bulk of his army with the giants and the other mystical creatures, they're going to go to war with Sauron's army. Mm-hmm. And Sauron's army's bigger. It's going to crush them. with, again, the wizards acting as a huge bolster.
Oh, yeah.
Until the Nazgul show up.
Yep.
And the Nazgul can fight at the level of any of the best Death Eaters, and they're unkillable. Yep. And that sort of thing, like, the Nazgul are kind of the only thing Sauron has on Palpatine.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, going back to that whole discussion about there's some way to break the ring, if it comes down to it, even without the Death Star, Palpatine parks 15 fleets of ships over Middle-earth and turns the planet into glass.
And we've seen that done in the Star Wars universe with Knights of the Old Republic. It was like 8 or 9 Star Destroyers that literally just laser blasted the city.
It's like, you can pummel a planet to death with enough Space Force, and Palpatine has that in spades.
Agreed.
So in an actual war of empires, Palpatine takes it,
Palpatine
no question.
takes it absolutely no question.
Not counting any super weapons.
Nope.
Not necessarily counting himself or Darth Vader, just army to army.
Army to army.
He crushes.
He crushes simply because he has the numbers to crush.
He has the numbers, and he has good stuff to go with him. It's not just a straight Zerg rush. I mean, he has his Ultralisks in there.
Yeah, no, his Zergs are loaded with laser weapons. I'm sorry, but the Orc army is gone.
Yeah, the Orc army's gone. Even if you jokingly say that the Orc army is as good or better than like Stormtrooper armor, you're still blaster bolting all of them to death.
Versus the best thing that they have are arrows.
They have gunpowder. They have bombs.
They do have bombs, but they never use them in guns or in cannons, really.
Yeah, it'd be catapults.
The best range thing that they have is maybe some boulders and arrows. Arrows are doing nothing to that armor.
Well, Ewoks.
Ewoks used rocks and it distracted them, but it never actually killed any of them with arrows.
Not necessarily.
And we've seen in.
I will say, if an orc gets into a stormtrooper's face, that stormtrooper's dead.
Oh, that stormtrooper's dead. Yeah, but we've seen in the Disney Rebels, his little laser blaster thing literally did nothing to the stormtrooper.
Right, the low grade stun one.
Low grade lasers won't do anything to that armor. There's no way that an arrow is piercing something that a low-grade laser won't pierce.
That's a good point. I'll give you that.
So yeah,
no huge discussion there. Just Palpatine wins on
an army scale, and according to in our opinions, Sauron wins in a roulette 1v1v1 sit down.
That's our opinion. We'd be very interested if you have another one to tell us why.
Yeah, we would love to hear your guys' opinion, what you guys think. If we missed anything that you think is a huge game changer, and you want to throw that in, remember, the Sidious that we used is the new Disney canon, not the legacy Sidious. Yeah. So otherwise, this would be a very different conversation.
This is canon Sidious as possible. This is canon Voldemort as possible. This is canon Sauron as possible.
Yeah. And that's where we are. That's also why Sauron's not like raising the dead in this, because the only time I ever saw that was in Shadow of Mordor.
Can he do it? Probably.
Maybe.
Do we ever see him do it? No. So we're not gonna say he can.
Yeah. So, but that's our opinion. I hope that y'all, liked this video. If we release it all, it's like 50 minutes long, and this is a podcast. Welcome to the first 2 minute of Mike podcast. In the meantime, y'all, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed it. We did.
We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you had a good time. Again, if you have thoughts, whether it's agreement or disagreement, tell us what they are and why, because we'd be interested to see what other people think.
Yeah.
Considering the evidence that we have now given ourselves.
Yeah, and I've talked to exactly one person about this, and he is a bigger Star Wars fanboy than you or me.
Okay.
He's part of the 501st Legion.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know you knew any 501st.
Yeah, I do. Awesome dude, but even he was like, "Does he have the One Ring?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Sauron wins." I love Palpatine, but Sauron wins.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. If you want to see something more from us, whether they be lore or let's play, leave it in the comments below. We'll get to it. Yeah, let us know what you want to see from us in the comments down below. Leave a like if you want to. Subscribe if you want to see more. In the meantime, y'all, this has been 2 Men and a Mic signing off. Hey guys, you can click the link in the left for our last lore video,
You can click the link on the right for our last Let's Play.
And right here in the middle, that orb, you can hit that to subscribe.
Also, ring the bell if you want to be notified when we post a new video.
This is Two Men and a Mic. Thanks for watching.